Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're all well. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a pickups video, and I've recently picked up a Super Famicom, as you probably know. And I said in the previous video I was going to show you the games when I get them. So I did pick up a few games. I've got 6 games so far. So not a lot, but just enough to keep me going. Now, when I first bought the Super Famicom, the whole idea was that I decided I was going to buy games I wanted to play. So I didn't want to just, get into that collector mindset again, as I've said before, where you're just buying all the time. I wanted to actually buy a small selection of games. That's I got 6, and that way I wanted to get games from different genres, give me something to play, and I could just sit back, enjoy them, play them through. Once I finish playing with them, then I buy some more and work from there. And I'm sure a lot of people actually do that. It's just when you get in that collector mindset, difficult to get out of it, and you just want to keep buying. You're constantly moving on from the one deal to the next deal to the next deal. I think we can all relate to that. So yeah, Super Famicom. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with the console. I've been playing it a lot actually since I got it, and yeah, I'm very happy that I made that decision to jump into the Japanese market again. So it's going well so far, smoothly. So on to the games. First game I got for you is a pretty obvious one. Of course, it is Super Mario Bros. Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 4, as it's known in Japan. Yeah, what can you say really about this? I mean, it's a great game. It's a classic platformer. Fantastic launch title, if not one of the best launch titles of any system, I think. And I've been playing it recently. I completed it the other night. I absolutely love it. I've still got to find all the other exits. I've done all the main part, getting to Bowser and defeating Bowser, which, to be fair, I was actually surprised how easy it was this time, and it took me a long time. It was only a couple of years ago I actually finished it for the first time, and yeah, I couldn't believe how quickly I got through this. It was quite surprising. It still holds up really well though. Still, beautiful graphics, iconic soundtrack. I mean, for me, it's one of the best Mario soundtracks. It really is. It's just incredible. And still when you play with Yoshi and you jump on top of him, that sound effects, it's just a really, really nostalgic and fun game, and it's just really held up exceptionally well. One of the best platformers on the system easily. So that's Super Mario World. I do like the Japanese box art and all, really cool. So next up, I decided to go for, as I say, I wanted to go for different genres, give myself a bit of variety so I wasn't rushing to buy more games for the system. Next game I got, a classic again, F-Zero. Fantastic racing game, launch title again, and it looks a little simple graphically nowadays, I think, but still the Mode 7 is the thing that really sells the game and really impresses, I feel. And it plays great, great soundtrack again. Another use of the fantastic Sony sound chip, the Super Nintendo Music, man. You can't beat it. It really is impressive, and it's really fun. I've been playing it recently and not been doing too bad on it at all. I've managed to get through a few tracks. I'm getting better every time actually. Last time I owned the game I wasn't very good at it, but I found this time I was getting through quite a few tracks. Get my words out. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold, unfortunately. I've been sick for nearly a month now, and it's been driving me crazy. This last bit of cough is just trying to go now. Anyway, F-Zero, yeah, fantastic little racer, as we all know. Really, really fun. You can't go wrong with it. So next up, I thought, well, I need to get a scrolling beat 'em up because it is my favourite genre, and I wanted one that I've not beaten yet on the Super Nintendo. And it is another launch title, at least it was in the West, I don't know if it was in Japan. Final Fight by Capcom. As I've said many a time, one of the 3 main arcade cabs that I used to gravitate to as a kid. It was Final Fight, Pit Fighter and Operation Wolf, my favourite games in the arcade. And I still think that this is a solid port. Yes, it hasn't got the industrial level. There are other parts of the game missing. I was trying to think of the word then, I couldn't think what the word is. Omissions, that's the word I was looking for. There are other omissions as well as the industrial level missing. But it's little things as well. I mean, you've got, obviously, Guy's not in the game, you've only got Cody and Hager, and they've eventually brought out Final Fight Guy and removed Cody and replaced him with Guy, which was, I just don't understand what the point was. The console was quite capable of handling all 3 characters, so I don't really understand that. But whatever, there must be a reason for that. But there are little things missing, silly little things, such as when you're about to fight Sodom. When you're outside the train, on the train track, you go through the train, you fight on the train, and you're on a train track part, and then you fight Sodom on the arcade and all the other ports. But on the SNES port, one thing that's missing is that the guys kick barrels towards you. They don't do it on the SNES. You just kick a couple of blokes' arses and then run on, jump through a wall, and fight Sodom. So there are little bits missing, but I will say, despite the omissions in the game, I feel that the actual port they did was really good. I think the graphics are a good representation of the arcade. The music is a really good representation of the arcade soundtrack. And it controls really well and plays really well. And it's as fun and as frustrating as the arcade game. So I think they did a good job personally. It's just a real shame that it wasn't complete. You know, and obviously we all know that the Mega CD is without doubt the definitive home version of Final Fight. It's incredible. There is of course the computer version, which I've forgotten the name of that Japanese computer, it's gone out of my head. But you know, in mainstream systems, the Mega CD or Sega CD for my American friends is the definitive version. It's just incredible. Right, so next up, I went back to Mario, so I think you know what this is going to be. And it's the Super Mario Collection, as it's known in Japan, or as we know it, Super Mario All-Stars. So of course you've got Mario Brothers 1, 2 and 3, and of course the infamous Lost Levels, which we won't go into because I think that's been done to death. Yeah, it's fantastic. I've been playing Mario 3, I haven't played any of the others yet, mainly because I still haven't beaten Mario 3. Every time I get to the final world, the game just gets so ridiculously difficult that I just haven't been able to do it. And I do find it quite frustrating. I don't know what it is. The rest of the game is quite challenging. You know, there can be parts of the game where you get really frustrated, but I've always managed to get through it. The final world, I've managed to get all the way through to the boat in the past, and then I just die and have to go all the way back to the beginning and start from scratch. And I just find it really, really tough. I will do it. I'm determined to defeat it because I absolutely love the game. It's fantastic, you know. So once I've done that, I want to try and beat Mario 2. I've never beaten Mario 2, or Mario. Is it Mario USA? Isn't it? I think that's what the Japanese call it. So yeah, I'd like to try and beat that because that's a really cool game. I like that. I know you've got the whole Doki Doki Panic thing, but I really like that it was completely and utterly different to all of the other Mario games. I always found that quite interesting when I was a kid. Right, so next game up, number 5, is probably one that most people would expect me to pick up, and it's, you know, my favourite game on the system pretty much at this point. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. You know, what can I say? Incredible artwork on the Japanese version as well. One of the best box arts as far as I'm concerned on any game on any system. It's just incredible. And Street Fighter 2 Turbo is still my favourite Street Fighter game. I've played many a Street Fighter over the years on different systems, but Turbo, without doubt, it still stands up as the best one. And I love the improvements over the original. I like the fact that the ability to play as the bosses. It's faster, which helps a lot, because when you play World Warrior now, World Warrior is painful, it's terrible. But you also got little nice additions such as different costumes, so you've got different colours. You also have the speech that's in the game, which is not in World Warrior, which is really weird when you play that game to not have the iconic Japan, you know, and all the speech you'd expect to get in Street Fighter 2. It's weird. Plus you've also got new moves as well, so Ryu and Ken can do mid-air hurricane kicks, which are really, really good as both defensive and attacking modes. I find that a fantastic move to have added into the game. And Chun-Li's got fireballs. So they did actually add quite a substantial amount of content. I mean, obviously at the time when the magazines were debating whether it was worth the upgrade, I can understand that, because you look in the old magazines, people like Rumbelows wanted 90 quid for Turbo. So yeah, back in the 90s, you were never going to lay out an extra 90 quid just to get an improved version of a game you already own, I wouldn't have thought. Which is a real shame, because it is an absolutely fantastic version. And I've said before, Street Fighter 2 doesn't work for me. They butchered the sound on that game and it ruined the game. It's a shame, because graphically it's a step up. You've got some really cool and interesting new characters, but the audio is absolutely awful. And then of course we've got Alpha 2, which was just incredible to see that one on the SNES. It still looks great. But Turbo for me is the best version of Street Fighter. I absolutely love it. You know, there have been some good versions on other consoles later on, like in the Street Fighter Alpha Zero series, not the EX series, because they were terrible. I hated those games back in the day. I never understood why they tried to take Street Fighter 3D. I just thought, no, don't do that. I know Tekken was big and Toshinden and all that, and they were trying to compete, but oh god, my friends absolutely loved those games. They played them to death, and I hated them with a passion. Street Fighter to me is 2D only, don't work 3D. But yeah, there's been some really good games, but Turbo, definitely the best. Right, so let's have a quick swig of me tea, because you've got to have a drink. Oh, that's good. Yorkshire tea as well, only the best. Right, so the last game I picked up. Now, this is a game that I've picked up And obviously, it's a game that I absolutely love on the system, and it's also a game from a franchise of games, or a series of games, should I say, back from the Amiga days, which I absolutely fell in love with on the Amiga. And when I eventually got the Super Nintendo version, when I had my All-American collection, I was really impressed with what they actually did on the system. It was fantastic. So I wanted to get the Japanese version. However, unfortunately, a box copy is ridiculously priced. For a really nice condition one at the moment, you're looking around about £400 to £450 starting. You can get them in the 300 to 400 range, but the boxes aren't going to be perfect in that respect. So it depends what condition you're bothered about. So I wasn't willing to pay that, and the box art is terrible on the game. It's absolutely awful for a Japanese game. And I thought, you know, you cannot justify an extra 400 quid or so just to get a box and a manual. It's just ridiculous. The collector part of me, yes, that absolutely says it's worth the saving, because, you know, you have a box copy, and that has been something I've found difficult to get over, but I've done it. And as I've said before in a previous video a while ago now, I said that I was going to buy loose cart versions of expensive games because I just don't see the point in paying all those extra hundreds of pounds. You know, I mean, if you got a game that you can get for loose cart for around about 50 quid, and then you're looking at 450 for a box copy, why would you, other than having it in the collection boxed because you want it boxed and complete, that's how it came, it looks nice that way, and it's a bit of a kudos item to show to people. Other than that, why would you really want to spend all that money when you've got 400 extra pounds that could buy you a hell of a lot of games, or even a couple of new systems? So it doesn't really seem a lot. There's not a lot of logic to that, and so I'm trying to be a bit more sensible, I think. Yeah, we all know it's not going to happen, but I'm trying. Anyway, onto the game. So I picked it up loose cart, as I say, and I've just taken out its packaging because, well, I've got a plastic bag for it, it's not packaging. Anyway, the game I picked up, guys, I'm really happy to finally get this, and it is Super Turrican. Absolutely fantastic game, as I say. I played it recently. I was actually quite surprised recently when I played it that I got right through to the Geiger level with the aliens. So I've still got my skills. I've not got rusty since I sold my American collection a while ago. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's such a beautiful looking game. It's a nice mixture of number 2 and number 3 as well, from what I've seen. So I've played them all on the Amiga now since I've had the GoTech. And back in the day I only played 1 and 2. I didn't even get to play number 3. So yeah, it's really, really good. As I say, it looks absolutely beautiful. You've got the gorgeous Amiga rainbow backgrounds on there. The incredible soundtrack from Turrican as well. It's just absolutely excellent. Yeah, I nearly didn't get this. The seller, oh man, the seller was murder. He really was a pain in the arse. I mean, I know he probably thought I was hassling him, but it's because he wasn't answering my questions and he was being awkward. And I saw he had this, and he was the cheapest seller on eBay at the time. There were only a couple, literally about, I think 3, maybe 4 copies. I think there were only 3 loose carts available at the time. And because there was such a massive difference in price between a loose cart and a box copy, I thought, are they legit? Because there was one that was selling for around about 30 something, I think 35, which was actually advertised as a reproduction. It looked absolutely identical to this legit cart, and I thought, oh, I don't know, man, £400 difference. Is it really a legit cart that he's selling, or is it a reproduction? So I asked him, and I said, you know, first of all, have you got a photograph of the back of the cartridge? Because you only took a photograph of the front. Now, this guy was taking photographs of all these other games, multiple photographs, front, back, manuals, carts, boxes, everything. But with the loose cart games, he was only taking the front. And I thought, well, I know from experience that Super Nintendo games, the plastic for the back of the cartridge is usually the one that goes yellow. It's usually crap quality. So I wanted to make sure, because I'm not going to pay out decent money and have it come yellow. That would really piss me off. And I know it's loose cart as well, so I am aware you have to allow for certain things. But I asked him anyway, I said, you know, has it got any yellowing on the back? Can you give me a photograph? And by the way, is it legit? I just want to make sure it's not a reproduction. Well, I didn't say is it legit, I said, is it a reproduction? He wrote back, he said, no, it's not a reproduction, I only sell originals. I'll take it apart and show you, and I'll take a photograph of the back. So I was like, fine. I wrote back and said, thank you very much, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Days went by, I didn't hear anything from him. He just ignored me, and I was like, oh, for Christ's sake. So I messaged him again to ask him again. He ignored me. I messaged him again the next day. He ignored me, and I messaged him again, and then eventually he wrote back and said, look, I'm really sorry, I'm very busy at the moment, I will get around to it. I thought, mate, I understand you're busy, but you're not selling that many games. Compared to someone like Hit Japan who's selling thousands of games, you're, you know, I think he had a couple of 100 games up for sale, you know, which is a lot, don't get me wrong, and I can imagine the stress that would cause. But I felt like, you know, at the end of the day, you're asking for decent money for this game, you should just take proper photographs in the first place. you wouldn't have to deal with people asking you questions then. And you know, you should make an effort with your customers. I mean, I don't sell much on eBay, but on the odd occasion I do sell, I make a lot of effort. You know, I'll answer all questions, I'll respond to offers, do all the things that I believe you should do, including leaving feedback, because that pisses me off when people don't do that. So anyway, I was getting nowhere, and I got the impression that he probably thought I was taking the piss by sending so many messages to him. But I really wanted the game, and there were other people watching it. I wanted to make sure I got it, and I wanted to know the condition of it. And I don't really think that's unfair. So in the end, I just got sick of waiting, and he was just ignoring me afterwards. He just didn't bother replying to my messages, and I was like, for Christ's sake. And he kept pissing about with the price as well. He kept dropping the price by 15%. And then 24 hours later putting the price back up again. Then he put the price up higher than it was before by £10. Then he brought the price back down again to the normal, to the price he was asking originally. Then he dropped it by 15%. And I was like, what is this guy playing at? He was a right twat. So he eventually drops the price to a lower price than he originally wanted by about £5. So I just thought, you know what, bollocks to it. I'm just going to take a punt on this one. And if the back's no good, I'll try and get a cheap game and switch the back out. It's just not worth the aggravation here. I just hope it's not a reproduction. So I paid the money, got the game. It eventually arrived. He was very, very slow at delivery. His delivery was terrible, by the way. It took him a whole week to post it after I paid. Literally, as soon as I clicked buy now, I clicked pay as well. I go onto PayPal and send the money immediately because I want the game to come to me. And yeah, he waited the whole week before posting it, which is just unbelievable. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, the game, I got it anyway. That's what matters, isn't it? It came, it's arrived, it's safe and sound. I opened it up. It is legitimate. It is stamped with Nintendo. It's all fine, so I'm very happy with that. Plays absolutely perfectly. It's really fun. So yes. So yeah, Super Turrican in my collection. Very happy with that. And so there are a few others I want to get. Probably end up getting a loose cart because of the price, but it is what it is. The only exception to that will be Final Fight Tough, just because it's not extortionate. It's expensive, but not extortionate, and I just want a box copy of it. I'm not making any excuses with that one. I just want a box copy of it because I've had it in the past and I love that game, and it's worth the money to me because even if it's a very short game, I can usually clock it in about an hour. I'll still play it over and over and over again because it's just brilliant. So there you go, guys. Those are the first additions to my Super Famicom collection. 6 individual games, different genres. You know, as I say, the good thing was I've got Mario All Stars as well, Mario Collection, so I've got 4 games on there alone. So I've got plenty to keep me going. So let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. As always, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.